My name is Joseph Illidge, groundbreaking writer and editor.
I'm Aaron Perrine, co-host of Phase Hero.
I'm T. Franklin, a Black, queer, disabled, award-winning, best-selling comic book writer.
This is Preach Jacobs, hip-hop artist and founder of Colacon, the nation's only hip-hop comic convention.
Hi, my name is Carla.
Hi, I'm Ebony.
We talk about health, culture,
and comic books.
I listen to.
And I listen to.
Tune into.
You're tuned into.
And I watch Aurora's podcast. And I watch Aurora Comics podcast.
Aurora Comics podcast.
The Aurora Comics podcast.
Aurora
Comics podcast.
You guys should be listening to
the Aurora Comics podcast.
Yes, if you're not, there's something wrong with you. There's really something wrong with you. This is the best podcast. It's like parallel to my podcast. It's right there. They're back and forth.
Yes.
But
make sure my things. All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Aurora Comics Podcast. I am Carla, aka Moon the Storyteller, and I'm a wife, a mom, a nurse, a voice actor, a creator, and co-host of Aurora Comics Podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ebony Toussaint, and I'm also a wife, a mom, and a nurse, and a research scientist and co-host for Aurora Comics Podcast. Thank y'all for joining us today.
All right, girl. I wanted to start off this episode with a word from me. As some of you may be following me on Instagram, I love to teach creatives how to market their comic books. So if you are a comic book creator struggling with your marketing strategy, then I want to encourage you to take a look, check out my comic book course. In this 8-week crash course, I am unlocking the secrets to how I raise thousands of dollars in funding for myself and for my clients when it comes to their comic books. So I'm going to post that link in the show notes. All right. So I wanted to just start off also mentioning that Angie Stone. Angie Stone passed away over the weekend from a car accident. She is a legend. She was a legend in the industry. Just a little bit of background. She is a Grammy-nominated R&B singer, and she died Saturday morning, which was the March 1st, in a car accident in Alabama. She was 63 years old. She got her start back in the late 1970s as a member of the hip hop trio The Sequence. Also in the 90s, she was a part of the R&B group called Vertical Hold. But she, I think for most people, they know her for her work later on in her career. In the late 90s, early 2000s, she came out with Black Diamond and Mahogany Soul. Each had hits and singles from that we still are singing to today. Like what's the one? Oh my gosh, I can't remember it.
Hey, brother.
Yes.
There is no one above you. Miss Angie.
Yes, that one. And then she also sung the theme song for Girlfriends. And she's appeared in several movies, TV shows, and so a little bit information about the actual crash. It says reports say that she was traveling back to Atlanta after a performance the previous night in Mobile, Alabama. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says her Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van overturned on Interstate 65 before it was hit by a semi-truck. Stone, who was a passenger joined by other musicians, died at the scene. She's the only person who was killed. 8 other passengers in the van were injured, and the crash is still under investigation. So, when I heard this, I was like, I kind of paused for a minute because it took me back to when I first heard, Whitney had passed and Aaliyah had passed, and even Michael. I mean, I I think Aaliyah's and Whitney's death kind of hit me harder, but it was just really sad, to hear that she died in this way.
Honestly, I didn't even know she was from South Carolina until now. And I was like, it is really true. Like, I mean, some of the greats, Chadwick Boseman, Eartha Kitt, just so many great people, Lee Thompson Young, people that are no longer with us. I were just just incredibly talented, that are no longer with us. But yeah, it definitely was very jarring. She was so young, I think 63 years old,
Hmm.
had grandkids. I think she was working with her son, her and D'Angelo's son, to figure out the royalty situation and try to leave wealth for her kids and grandkids. And so it's just it feels definitely like a big loss, like way too soon. I had no idea about the sequence. And you know how much I love hip hop and jazz. I had no idea they were like this first girl hip hop group signed to a major record label. And the fact that they're from the South is incredible. And I think it was because they actually went to a show at the historic Township Auditorium, here in South Carolina, and like got backstage, got in front of the right people and wowed them. But like you said, I think most of us, and especially me, I associated her with neo soul, Maxwell,
Hmm.
Music Soul Child, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, like that kind of late 90s, early 2000s, turn of the century like vibe. So to hear that she was down like with hip hop and everything before, it's like, wow, we had so much more to like learn from her and about her. So yeah. I hope her
Yeah.
transition was peaceful despite the circumstances.
Yeah. And I hope her family does figure out the whole royalty situation. Back in January, is she said that she called out, well, I think it was Universal Music. She called them out for not giving her royalties over the past few decades. And a quote from her is, a lot of my publishing, my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. At 40 something years in the business, I'm like, where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all of my royalties, all of my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. So I I don't like to ever assign any conspiracy theories to anyone's death because I think, it's not appropriate. But this just does not sit well with me at all. Um, it seems that, people, when they start speaking out against the publishing companies, months later, they end up gone. And we've seen that with a few other artists. So it's really sad. And I do hope the family continues to pursue the whole royalty situation, and so her children can enjoy what she's worked so hard for, so so what you want to talk about, girl?
Hmm. It's a lot, girl, honestly. I mean, I think one of the biggest cultural things right now, obviously the Oscars, everybody's raving about that. So I'm like, the Quincy Jones tribute and everything, Cynthia Erivo snub, lots of snubs apparently. But I think one of the big things that I've been thinking about is the carcinogens and the lead found in synthetic braiding hair,
Mm,
which we know that mainly Black women wear around the world, Black women that exist in different continents and countries, not just in America's, use synthetic braiding hair for protective hairstyles. And the evidence is conclusive on lead. We knew that. One of the things I mentioned to you that I learned that I don't think a lot of people know about, I learned during my first master's degree over 10 years ago, was about the Baltimore lead experiment. So I don't know if you had heard about it previously, but this was in the early 90s by the Kennedy Krieger Institute and Johns Hopkins University, that did this lead abatement study, um, in Baltimore, children. And it was largely a low income Black community. And I think one of the biggest connection pieces for me was years later, after I earned that master's degree, we had the death of Freddie Gray, which was during the big Black Lives Matter movement, and learning that he was a study participant in the Baltimore lead experiment. And can we say, causation correlation? Can we fully attribute all of his life's like struggles and neurocognitive challenges to his participation? No, but we do know lead is linked to these deficits in children, just from that lead exposure. And some of the levels of the children in that study that were tested were just astronomical. So just to think that little Black girls from early ages that have been wearing protective styles for Black women for decades and having people being diagnosed with rare cancers, can we say this was the cause? But certainly we can say that some of these outcomes are perhaps linked to even trusted Black hair brands were on this list of the 10 brands that they tested.
Mhm.
Magic Fingers, I think, is one of the sad ones. Shake and Go, Sensational. Like we've seen a lot of these brands on the shelves and people have used them for all types of styles. It's just so egregious to me. And I think we got to note here the differences in a protective style versus something somebody just putting on to wear for a quick event. That's different than you got repeat exposure. People even wash that hair while it's in their hair on their scalp to refresh it and keep going, or maybe
Mhm.
people reuse braiding hair, all kinds of things. I don't particularly wear braids regularly myself. I may have only had them a handful of times throughout my life, but again, I think about people who rely on these styles regularly for various reasons, work-life balance, health challenges, whatever the reason may be, just because to feel cute and pretty. It's in this hair is an accessory like many other things for women, or people who wear braids. And so I've this like was very jarring information. I'm glad that Black women are doing this research. I think either it's led by Black women or their team includes Black women. And so this is such important preliminary work. And shout out to Consumer Reports for putting this out there, and
Mhm.
NBC for reporting on it, and all the other outlets for this is a very, very important topic. And I think it should be everywhere right now. I mean, amidst all the fires and everything.
I'm trying to find the list of
The
synthetic
10,
the 10. Do you have it?
let me see.
I don't know. It don't every article I'm coming to doesn't have the names of the 10 companies that they actually studied, but it doesn't mean that there aren't more. It just means that they took sample, tested just the braiding the hair from those 10 companies. The synthetic hair from those 10 companies, but it could be more. I mean, I wear braids a lot. I haven't had braids in a few weeks, but I was about to go get my hair braided this Saturday, but I don't know no I don't know. I don't think I want to get my hair braided again. It doesn't, it's just so sad. Every time we have something, here comes somebody gotta add something to it. Let's see. And this kind of follows what happened last year with the relaxers. Last year they had a class action lawsuit against L'Oreal, Ultra Sheen, Just for Me, and Motions, among others, um, because of its link, the link to cancer. So I tell you, I tell you.
I mean, honestly, and Just for Me, I think was the biggest betrayal because me and my sister, we used to get those boxes and look forward to it and take the tape out and record stuff over those tapes. Like that was like our free, like little like way to score some tapes to do our like recordings. We like record us dancing and singing
Mhm.
or record on the radio.
I
So I definitely
know.
wasn't recording over my My Way tape. I think Usher, his My Way cassette was one of my first cassette tapes. And Mary J. Blige was the 411. And I had Michael Jackson Bad on cassette tape. So just great. So I've used the ones in the perm box to record.
Mhm.
But just so people know, the Consumer Reports, they like Carla said, they studied 10 major brands is what they looked at, but that doesn't mean, like you said, they couldn't have more. And they had dangerous substances like PVC, flates, and lead, which can be absorbed through the scalp. So some symptoms to look out for, y'all, is scalp irritation and itching, burning or redness, and hormonal imbalances over time. And so some of the tips that I'm seeing a lot of clinicians and scientists say online right now, again, this is preliminary, things are pre-wash your braiding hair. use a scalp protectant before installing, and choose non-toxic PVC-free brands. I think there's like a Rebundle brand, also the other Black-owned brands that are using plant-based fibers and things like that. And then also they're suggesting to limit exposure time wearing synthetic braids and other styles, which again is depending on people's lifestyles and their health condition. However people choose to style their hair is for various reasons, cultural, different, we don't know. But just try to choose. There's some Black-owned brands that use more plant-based fibers. I personally haven't checked out Rebundle, but I've heard of people talking about people making the switch. It is a Black woman, and it looks beautiful actually. They have like lots of nice hair options, especially for people who've had allergic reactions to braiding hair before, even after rinsing it. I've seen people say, "Oh, use an apple cider vinegar rinse."
Mhm.
I mean, you never know, but seeing Black women kind of take the lead. I mean, the colors they have available. Yeah, I see that they're vegan. But yeah, Rebundle, the hair looks like really high quality, moisturizes your hair.
Is it
Sets
called Rebundle? Rebundle. I think I found them on Instagram.
yeah,
Called
Rebundle.
rebundle.co.
That dish the
Ditch
itch.
the itch, make the switch.
Yeah, I love it
So I'm
so much.
definitely gonna follow them.
Plant-based hair looks great to me. I mean, I wouldn't even, if someone hadn't said it, I wouldn't have known. And so that's the ones I'm seeing people recommend. I follow one of my favorite physicians online is Dr. Farmer. I don't know if you follow her, but she's an ENT. And they do a lot of, allergy and itching and that kind of thing, like sensitivities. So I really like her content. So I'm just a shout out to Dr. Tania Farmer. Um, yeah, so I like Doctor Knows Best is what it
Hmm.
says. Doctor Knows Best, Nose, which is super cute. So shout out to her and talking about I think she actually got it trademarked. So good for her. The Doctor Knows Best, Nose. People like to steal stuff, especially from Black women sometimes. So yeah, so because she shouted out that brand Rebundle, it makes me want to give it a try. So maybe get the Rebundle
Hmm.
sis for your next. You getting it braided when? This week?
Well, I'm a wait till my hair comes in.
Or
Yeah, because
order
I'm a yeah, because and the founder and CEO, she just did a video. Her name is Sierra, and she just did a video of why she started her company. And she says back in 2019, she struggled with scalp irritation from plastic synthetic hair and started questioning the materials used in braiding hair. So the hair that she creates is made from banana fiber, itch-free, non-toxic, and biodegradable. So, yeah, I'm gonna be ordering from her from now on. Her stock is about to go through the roof.
Same. And it's crazy because I think back on a bad experience I had with some braids before. I had to take them out. I think I lasted maybe 3 weeks.
Mhm,
I thought maybe I was just being, my hair was just being sensitive. I did not think about the twisting hair at
mhm,
all. But they said like the Kankalon and they even, I think people have mentioned too, when you even burn them, you know how a lot of times we boil the hair with the rollers on it to get the curl to set in it, or if we're like using a lighter to,
mhm,
so I'm really glad our target or primary audience of listeners right now are like women 35 and up. And like,
mhm.
yeah. And not to say other people can't wear braids, but it's mostly Black women, like I said. So just want to
Yeah,
make sure people know we're an inclusive podcast. So wear your braids if you want. We're just making sure that we emphasize the people who typically have worn them.
yeah, girl. Our podcast isn't for everybody. I had a comment from I've never met him in person, but he is a fellow creative. And he did not get our conversation with Preach, and I said, well, this is, his experience, and this is a safe space for our guests, and they can speak on their experience the way that they've experienced it. You can't talk about someone else's experience. Our podcast isn't for everyone, but this will always be a safe space for our guests. So, um, especially Black women, especially Black
Absolutely.
women.
You're not for everyone.
Hmm. So I didn't watch the Oscars. I generally don't watch award shows because they're long, boring, and I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that the winners, the people who they've chosen to win. But Cynthia Erivo, I did see her performance. It was amazing. What was she snubbed in though? What award didn't she get?
Uh, Maybe it was Best Actress Oscar. And then Ariana was snubbed for Best Supporting Actress because, she was, Ariana was Galinda and Cynthia was Elphaba. And so,
Okay.
yeah, but
I
I
wonder who
think Spike
won.
posted the last nine people to win Best Actress Oscar were all non-Black women. So it's not that big of a surprise. People were kind of pissed about Zoe Saldana, and people were bringing up receipts on her portraying Nina Simone and like the black face that she did. And even though she doesn't describe herself as Black, she is Afro-Latina. And I believe that's something she's used or people have used to describe her. But there's people have talked about like the colorism, texturism, just the whole issues with her. And of course, she's mentioned her remarks and regrets portraying Nina Simone the way that she did, which we grow,
Mhm.
we evolve, but it's like, girl, like you were fully grown adult. I don't know that somebody need to tell you that was okay. So it just kind of questions a lot of people's socialization upbringing when you don't know that something so egregious is incorrect, like putting on prosthetic nose, darkening your skin for a role, honey. Yeah, no. It's not like you were playing a monster where you were putting on like costume horror makeup or something. That wasn't the case. Like that context matters. And then I think it was also the snub of oh gosh, who won well, we actually had the first Black man win for he won for Wicked for costume design.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so we already have the
Following the
Black
footsteps of Ruthie Carter, who
Martyr,
won two
yeah.
Oscars already for her amazing work on movies like Black Panther. Um,
That Afrofuturism fashion exhibit. Oh my gosh.
Did you go?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we went a few months back. It was amazing. I didn't realize she had done so much.
People wanted a queer person to actually win for playing a queer person for a change, like not people winning a role who are, cis heterosexual winning a role for playing a LGBTQ plus person, but actually Coleman Domingo, who is gay, playing in a role that is gay or queer and winning a role. So we haven't had that happen yet. So people were hoping for that. I mean, can we talk about Coleman Domingo for a minute? I made the statement online, and only if you know, you know. I said the way that songs are meant to be sung by Avery Wilson is the way that suits are meant to be worn by Coleman Domingo. That man can wear a suit, okay? It's the fabric, it's the color, it's the folding, the blends of the fabric, the layers, the cuts, the styling. I mean, it's chef's kiss. He just has that je ne sais quoi. Like he doesn't come in your standard tuxedo. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
it looks styled. He looks posh. I
hmm
love it for him. And I'm like, I just want more men to take notes. You don't have to just wear a plain old black suit.
Yeah.
You too can have a splash of color, a sequin, a pattern play, like a texture play, layer play, like and it's perfection every time. I don't know who his because we got Zendaya and we know we got Lux Law like styling her.
hmm
But I really do wonder who other people's people are, and Coleman Domingo is one of them because he's
hmm
consistently, as well as Queen Dana, Queen Latifah. I mean,
And
I
Kiki
think she
now,
wore so
Kiki
young though.
Palmer is stepping it up as well.
I've noticed,
Mhm.
but people talk about Queen Latifah's hair lately too, because she has not had a day off. People said her hair, no days off. I don't know if you've seen The Equalizer, but I've loved how much they've
Yeah.
had her character like switch up the hair. I'm like, yes, because we change
hmm
our hair. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into work and I might change my part or my hair is pulled back or I have and people act like, oh, I didn't recognize you today. And I'm like, yes, we also can change our hair. And I like that she's like this undercover, like pre-government agent, kind of free agent, but she changes her hair often. I'm like, yeah, make it part of
Mhm.
the Clark Kent, because
There was,
apparently glasses off or move a ponytail or a part or something. Where did she go?
and there was one episode where a little girl was trying to pick a fight with her in the jail cell. And she was like, "Huh, girl, little girl, I don't want to sweat out my root, my edges dealing with you."
Not doing it. So real. So real. They've had her get
Mhm,
caught in rain and the texture change in the rain. I'm like, yes, because if we're standing out in the rain, it's okay for it to poof up a little bit.
mhm,
Like, that
mhm.
is okay. That's what's gonna happen.
What did you think about Zoe Sal? Did you see Zoe Saldana's response to how some Mexicans felt offended by Emelia Perez, that the movie? Did you read her
Oh, I
response?
saw the post today, but I didn't read it, that people were upset.
I mean,
I mean, honestly, like people have said, like this wasn't a movie that she should have won for. Really, it's like this got the Oscar, and I'm not sure what she was even up against. But if they always vote for like the wrong thing, like even people said this is like reminiscent of Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis all over again. It's like I'm sorry, that Wakanda Forever monologue was iconic. And
mhm,
Jamie Lee Curtis wins for hot dog fingers. And she's an incredible actress. You know how much I love John Carpenter's Halloween. She's been in, Freaky Friday. I love that movie. Lindsay Lohan, The Pink Slip, the band,
mhm,
all that. Just incredible. And so it's like she's had a great career. Should this have been the film for her? Twin,
mhm,
was her role Oscar worthy?
mhm.
It felt like somebody said it's like a lifetime achievement, which they have a category, I think, for that. So that would have been more appropriate. But no, I didn't see Zoe's comments and apology again. It's like, girl, just go on an apology tour at this point, because
Well, let me read it and just tell me what you think. Okay, so after taking home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, Zoe Saldana responded to criticism of the film's portrayal of Mexico after a journalist shared that it had been really hurtful for us Mexicans. So she replies, first of all, I'm very, very sorry that many Mexicans felt offended. That was never our intention. We spoke from a place of love. I don't share your opinion. For me, the heart of this movie was not Mexico. We were making a film about friendship. We were making a film about four women. These women could have been Russian, could have been Dominican, could have been Black from Detroit. Detroit could have been from Israel, could have been from Gaza. And these women are still very universal women that are struggling every day, but trying to survive systemic oppression and trying to find the most authentic voices. So I will stand by that. But I also open to sit down with all of my Mexican brothers and sisters with love and respect to have a great conversation on how Amelia Perez could have been done better. I welcome it.
Zoe Saldana.
So,
Oh, girl.
I really love her work. I think she has a really pretty dress on. Her hair,
Not Aretha Franklin
her hair was
gowns.
really great. Her
Gowns.
beautiful gowns.
Gowns.
I just, my thing is this though, like if if your movie was based around four, I haven't seen it yet. But if your movie is about four women from Mexico or four Mexican women or one Mexican, whatever, if that is the theme of your movie, one, why didn't you have some Mexicans consulted on the project? And two, why didn't you have Mexicans as some of the actresses? And three, why wasn't it filmed in Mexico? And four, why are you dismissing someone who's actually Mexican's opinions and viewpoints? When you
Her
say
response.
the heart of this movie was not Mexico.
Does she not have a publicist at this point? Because then mentioning this could have been, it's like I'm every woman. It's all in me. This could have been, it could be Nina Simone. I could be a Russian. It could have been an Israeli woman. It could have been Gaza. Girl, what? What did I have to do with anything? And it wasn't a valid response, and it didn't acknowledge anything. It was
Mm-mm,
very receptive. It's like, oh, I'm interested in listening and learning. That opportunity should have happened when you got, approached for the role. Like,
mm,
hey, well, how are we incorporating perspectives? That's your opportunity to stand in solidarity and use your platform and use your sense of agency to advocate for, Mexican culture, Mexican people to be included in a meaningful way. Not, oh, I'm open to the Mexican community now. And I mean, it's not even similar. People gave criticism to when Jennifer Lopez, a Puerto Rican, played Selena, who was, Mexican American. But when people talk, you go back and look at behind the scene footage from the time and you hear her family talk about it, she outshined people for that role. Like it was very, much like, oh, Jennifer Lopez was the best fit for the role. I do believe the young Selena in the movie was Mexican. And again, her family was consulted. They very much agreed to everything and all the events that occurred. They were incorporated in a meaningful way. Whereas it doesn't sound like that happened here, because then you wouldn't be singing this I'm Every Woman song and it could have been Russian. That's a story about 4 women. I really like, girl, you're not Beyonce. This isn't like, oh, this isn't a country album. This is a Beyonce album. This is not like she just again, who's her publicist? Just gowns,
Oh,
beautiful gowns. And even that gown wasn't even, I don't know. You said you like that gown. I don't get I like Drumline Zoe, okay? I like
I, I,
Gamora Zoe. I don't understand, what her other choices seem to be odd to me. I mean, honestly, outside of those films, what has she done besides Drumline? I feel like most people know her for Drumline.
she's done Avatar,
Avatar, oh, that's right,
some
Avatar.
Marvel movies.
I said Gamora.
She's done other movies like Colombiana. She was in that, which was great. Um, but I just feel like her creative choices have are sometimes they are hidden and sometimes they're
Out
not.
of touch, like when they're not planned from somebody else, like something like continuing like Avatar, something continuing like Guardian of the Galaxy, something culturally iconic like Drumline. It's like the other choices, there's not enough there. It's just something, it's a disconnect for me. It's again, you're not Mexican. So I just,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not Mexican, but everyone else to me knows I have a deep respect for Mexicans in that culture. And I just, I don't, I,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
my husband is Mexican, so I mean,
And it's so much so that I actually had my theme for my third baby shower was lunch in a Mexican garden.
hmm
And I made sure, I'm like, hey, friends that are Mexican, how do I do this tastefully? You know how it was before, it wasn't after the shower. Well, do you think that picture is okay? Do you think it's okay that I dress like that? No, because that's not how we do things. We do them with intention and we do them with respect, and we want to honor people and make sure we're appreciating their culture, not appropriating. So there weren't gaudy things like sombreros. They weren't like, like stereotypical stuff like mustaches and things like that. I had one of my Mexican friends actually educated me on the significance of sombrero and like those people that fought in that uniform of those like soldiers that we see in those like nice little uniforms and things like that, and the mustache, and so it's like, be respectful. Was there anything lost from me not having sombrero? And I didn't want sombreros. I'm just being very clear. It's just a common thing that people have at like Cinco de Mayo and stuff like that. And it's like, no, it was a very tasteful, lovely shower.
you did it the right way. And I looked up who wrote Amelia Perez because that film has won a lot of awards over the past few weeks. Amelia Perez is a 2024 Spanish language French musical crime comedy film written and directed by Jacques Ardiard. So he's not even Mexican. I can't do this. It's 2025. It is 2025 and we still doing this stuff. Are we still doing it? And it's funny because they won so many awards, but everyone's like, why did they win the award? Why? What is it about? I just don't understand it. Um, I just don't. Mm. I'm just reading some of the reviews. They're hilarious, girl. Yeah, but Zoe, she should have. I mean, I think she's a great actress, but if she was gonna win, I feel like she could have won for other roles besides. Like she did a great job in Avatar. She was acting her behind off in Avatar. Just that's what she should have won for. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about X-Men 97 season 2. It's not coming out until 2026.
Complaining to my husband about this. Why do we have this trend now of waiting like 2 years to release shows again? It's like I gotta go. Not that I mind rewatching everything all over again, but it's like same way like me, my uncle, we rewatched X-Men 97 leading up to the
Hmm.
current season, and it's just like now I'm gonna have to go back and make sure I get a refresher all over again. So I don't know if there's all this added pressure that things have to be perfect. I mean, I want it done right. I want it done well.
They probably, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know when they fired Bo DeMaio, he had already given them the season 2 script though. So you can't tell me it's taking this long to do the animation. You can't tell me
Maybe
it.
rewriting the distance and stuff from him.
Maybe they
I
are
think
rewriting it. Maybe they
that's
are to
probably
try to kind of move into, because I guess with season 3, they just want to make sure everything's cohesive and they just want to make, I don't know. And then we hear that the Spider-Man movie, the third Miles Morales movie is not coming out to what, 2028? Yep, girl, I don't know what's going on. Then we have the movies that we didn't ask for. We have movies that we didn't even ask for. We didn't
hmm.
ask for that's Mufasa. I mean, I love some Aaron Pierre, but I didn't go see that movie. Did you go see that movie?
Girl, no, because who asked for that? Like
Nobody
that,
asked for that.
I walk right past that post at the movie theater all the time. Because who asked for this?
Nobody,
We
nobody
didn't need that
did.
backstory. We
Nobody.
didn't.
I mean, and I mean, how much did it make at the box office? I haven't heard nothing else about it. How much did it? Let me see how much it made. Mufasa.
Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa.
Girl, you know him and Tiana Taylor are together now.
And no, I no, I
I didn't
refuse.
know. Okay, it made over $700 million.
Oh,
Oh, I guess nobody asked for it, but they sure enough went to go see it.
I guess maybe Blue Ivy, maybe they marketing team put people to work too for her to support, so the project went
I
flop.
think I think
I
she
think it was her first red carpet, right? Like for her, like not
mm,
accompanying like her parents, but like her own red carpet.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I think she won
to be successful, but just all these live action, all these prequels. I'm like, who asked for this?
girl. It's another movie that just came out. I'm like, what is it? Oh, the Venom. Like it did horrible. It's already on Netflix.
There was another Venom.
It was another Venom. I think it came out a few months ago, but it's already on Netflix. The third one. I think that's the last one.
Check it
And
out.
then the Craven the Hunter is coming next
Yeah,
week on Netflix. I'm like, that nobody's asking for these
mad
movies.
about that too, though. That's crazy.
Girl.
Nope, they choosing the wrong villains because, like, who asked for Venom or Craven the Hunter? Like, I don't know.
Mm-mm. But unfortunately, I have not seen Captain America yet. As much as we hyped it up, I have not seen it yet. These past 2 weekends have been crazy. Did you see it?
I've seen it twice, girl.
Girl,
I
don't tell me,
returned to the
don't tell
field.
me nothing. Don't tell
I
me
got the
nothing.
commemorative coin. I got two commemorative coins.
We're going next Sunday.
Got
We're
an
going
action
next
figure.
Sunday.
I got a glass cup at the Alamo and DC. I got the last cup. You know, like those cups used to get in the 90s, like
Mhm.
Pocahontas or Lion King. Oh, yeah.
Oh. Also, but you can't tell me like on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give it? What?
Oh, I think I would give it an 8. And let me show you the quote I think that the I wonder how you can search or it can't be that far back because one of the quotes that he said, it won't give you away much, but I think a lot of people seem to resonate with it because as soon as he said it, it was like, whew, like yeah, oh my gosh. Did you see Sanford Green's line at Walmart too of all the Captain America stuff? It's sold out. And so I accept notifications to get like the shirts and water bottles and hats and stuff he did for me and my boys and my honey bun. But the quote that he said was if I'm when he was talking to the Falcon to Torres. Torres said, it's like you're always on point, loosely, when they're at Walter Reed Hospital in DC. And he said, if I'm not on point, I feel like I'm letting down everybody else who's fighting for a seat at the table. That's pressure. It makes you wonder if you'll ever be enough. And seeing other people post that, especially Black men who said they were sobbing when he said that, because it's like the pressure, the weight that we all, the quote of gotta be twice as good. And it felt like him reminding people like, I don't have the super soldier serum. And I feel like that's also a metaphor too, because the previous Cap was a white man, and who everybody else wanted to be, they wanted Buchanan, Bucky to be the next Captain America. But we end up with Sam Wilson, this Black man, and it's like I have all this pressure because I don't have the super serum, which I kind of view as like a metaphor for privilege. And it's like I have to still be just as good. I gotta be perfect even, because there's people who wanted this position, like the previous guy, I forgot his name, who's now gonna be in what is it?
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. Yeah, which again, I kind of have problems with that too, because it shows that no step is too far for white people, especially white men, to be redeemable. You get to now go on the road and be this superhero, even after what you did was very
U.S. agent, played by Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that quote stood out to me. I can't wait for you to see it. I definitely will give it a solid 8. I mean, yeah, I don't want to give you away, but it was
Good.
epic. The action, the plot, the use of the characters. No one felt like there was like no stone unturned. I didn't feel like there were any holes. Everything made sense. I like the connection back to the original Hulk film. So it was very well done. Harrison Ford, I mean, Harrison Ford, right? Red Hulk and everything. So I enjoyed it. I honestly want to go see it like the third time in the theater. I was just thinking about it this week, but no, I think there's other movies that I've been wanting to check out too that are on my list. So yeah.
Oh, good. We're looking forward to it. We've been helping my parents move over the past 2 weekends, so we haven't been able to get it, but we are going on Sunday.